And we're live! Hello all and welcome back to the INVICTUS stream. My name as always is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I'm here once again with the lovely and talented, my wife, Mrs. Jo Guthrie. With a dinosaur there. We are joined once again by my very good friend, Emily Kellogg. And, of course, one of my new favorite role players, William A. Wellman. And we are back with Call of Cthulhu, The Haunting of Blackreef. What is the Haunting of Blackreef, you might ask? Well, it is our, so far, 4-part Call of Cthulhu game, which we're going to summarize in a little bit, not just for you, but for us, because it's been 2 weeks or so since we've streamed. But welcome. This is, of course, the INVICTUS stream. We stream every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, and we do a myriad of funny one-shots like we did 2 weeks ago with William guest starring in our Dolls 4 B-movie horror spin-off.
That was really well received on the Discord.
It was really well received.
It was extremely well reviewed.
I found the reviews quite wonderful. The acting splendid.
The critics loved it.
The critics ate it up, I said. But yeah, of course, we do role-playing games every Wednesday. What's a role-playing game? Well, Google it. It's going to take a while to get into that. Of course, on the INVICTUS stream,
educate
this
yourself.
Is an 18-plus show. In Canada, that means it is mature. What does mature mean? Well, sometimes it means that we deal with the dark, macabre, murder, and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes it means we say offensive words like fuck. So it's kind of a wide net. So if you are sensitive to those kinds of things, you know, don't watch. That's okay. But we are currently raising money for Extra Life. So if you are somebody who's ready to close the stream because of the no-no words we're going to say very soon, before you do, please consider donating to Extra Life. Every year for 24 hours, Joe and myself stream right here on this channel for 24 hours. It starts November 4th at midnight or 5th at midnight. Depending
Eastern
on how
Standard
you want to
Time.
do it. You know what I mean? Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. We're going to be streaming a myriad of video games. We're going to be doing some fun little video challenges. And at the end of the night, we're going to be joined by Emily Kellogg, as well as a few other people live here, where we are going to be eating 10 spicy chicken wings and answering trivia questions. So we're going to be doing the Hot Ones Challenge. Emily, are you nervous? How do you fare with hot food?
I'm okay sometimes. Other times I cry. We're going to see what kind of time this is.
I mean, who doesn't want to see that? So yeah, we're going to be streaming. It'll be on November 5th around 7 p.m. You can come back to this channel if you only want to catch that part, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So whether you watch us sweat over hot wings or answer trivia questions, if that's your jam, you're going to see both of it. But it's all going to be for raising money for Extra Life. So again, please consider donating. The link is in the description of this video.
Thank you. It is in the link to the description of the video. And thank you so much to everyone who has donated so far.
Yes.
I know some folks really wanted to get their donations in early. We have raised over $1,000 so far just this year. We're sitting at a grand total of $1,109. So we are officially going to show footage of myself eating the hot chip.
Yeah.
Which was an event that you'll have to learn about by tuning in.
Yep.
Additionally, Harlan or myself will be recording a short story that you can listen to for every $1,000 we raise. And then at $2,500, Harlan's going to start making non-canonical, malevolent shorts that are submitted by the community.
I'm going to cut them out of my old jeans. Going to fray the edges.
Featuring such suggestions as Arthur and John adopt a cat.
Yeah, I think one of them was
be
bake
really
a pie
good
or something like that.
Yeah, so
but regardless, it's all for the kids. So worry not about the
We don't get a
rewards.
cent, but keep the donations coming in. If we get any tonight, we're going to read them on air and congratulate you and thank you so much.
Yeah,
and make you feel really embarrassed.
It's all for a good cause. Sick kids hospitals in Toronto we'll be getting all of the money. So again, and thank you to these lovely people who are joining us while we ramp up to Extra Life. If you enjoy RPGs but they're not your jam, we also have been streaming every Friday night, and we'll be doing so this Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern again to be raising money. We do spooky games, and I don't know what spooky game we're going to do tonight or this Friday at 8, but it'll be something fun because we're fun people.
Assuredly.
He said angrily and pointed at the camera. Call me fun. But yeah, so that's the whole spiel from our end. But who are these lovely people, you might be asking? Well, of course, if you haven't checked it out yet, Parkdale Haunt is in its final season. We're on episode 8 as of Friday, right? And
Yes.
it's 10 episodes?
Yes, we are in the final home stretch, 28, 29, and 30, or 8, 9, and 10 of season 3.
Yeah, so it is now time to get caught up if you haven't already, and listen to the spooky ending. I mean, we can't start talking about that yet because it's going to be too real, right? But are you going to do like a live stream finale, you two? Like answer
Is there
questions?
an
or
event
something,
or something we can publicize?
No, there isn't. We're going to collapse in a heap on the floor, and then we're going to regroup from there.
Nice.
Love it.
Yeah, it's really all going to push from the finale. I just got the final cut of the finale from Ian.
Wow.
It's exciting. I listened to the rough draft. I laughed. I cried. Yeah, it's a big deal.
We're excited. It's going to be a big explosion. That's how it ends. Actually, it ends with rocks falling and dream sequence from what Alex has told me.
Adrian on the Discord says, I need more bird in my life.
There you go.
You had some bird. You had some bird last episode, right?
Needs more. Apparently need to just sprinkle more bird right on top.
And of course, William has been joining us from the Hallowoods.
Indeed.
Which is now, where are we now?
We're in a break, right? You're on a break?
Well, I very excitedly got to put together the little mini series to fill out the rest of the season break. Because even during the breaks, we still have bonus episodes coming out. I don't know if anyone's listened to Mayor Lovecraft's TikTok series. He's a real life Ohio mayor. He dictates a creepy, somewhat Night Vale-esque Ohio town that he's actually the mayor of. But we lucked into having him narrate this little 2-part sort of like meta horror writer story. So that's been delightful to listen to. The second half is out next week, and that will be lovely. And then after that, we're right back into season 3 of Hello from the Hallowoods for Halloween. So that's coming up soon.
Leland, what's his name?
Lehman Kessler.
Lehman. Yeah. He's. I think he just hung up his Lovecraft mantle on his YouTube a few months ago.
After like 10 years of running his Ask Lovecraft web series. That was finally wrapped. Yeah.
I thought you said Ask Lovecraft.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
That's great. Now that's
so
malevolent.
I can't even laugh at it. But yeah, there's I've known of him from like the Lovecraft easing days when I used to role play with them before any of the streaming stuff. He's been kind of, so when I saw him pop up on your thing, I was like, oh, nice pull, William. Like that dude's cool. But yeah, I remember when he was like running for mayor of that town that he's now mayor of, which is so weird. But
you should be mayor.
The dark powers.
I should be mayor. Yeah, that's right. I should be mayor.
You should just march up to town hall and be like, I should be mayor.
No, I don't want to be mayor of this town. I want to be mayor of some weird nowhere town. Some real just in the middle of nowhere.
Just start driving and then stake your claim.
I'm the mayor here. That's how we do it now.
There are places where there's like a dog mayor or a cat mayor.
That's true. I'm better than a dog. Well, not a cat, but I'm
No,
probably a dog.
no, I would vote for the dog or cat. I'm sorry.
Dog mayor,
Ouch.
dog mayor.
The promotion of dogs to my cabinet. So that there would be more dogs in office,
I like that.
but not one in charge.
Yeah, you're getting me.
Right?
You're getting
Dog
me.
government.
A dog government.
Man mayor.
Yeah, man. that's my dog government man mayor. That's
see
my
the poster.
platform.
That's your slogan.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
God, I can see it now.
and the dogs are all around me. Dog government or man government. Fuck, I screwed it up. But it says all that. It says dog. Wait, shit, fuck, I screwed it up. And there's just a picture of me with all these dogs around me.
I vote to pass this legislation. All in favor, say arf.
Arf!
That's great.
Very good.
It's gonna be a lot of fun being a mayor, but also listening to the start of Hello from the Hallowoods and the end of Parkdale Haunt. Where one tale ends, one begins.
Like two ships passing in the night.
Like two ships, yes. That's how they do.
And I think
most
there's
of the time.
one more cameo of Harlan left.
Yes. I was waiting for the trifecta in part
I don't know
two.
what the third one is.
You don't know? Didn't I tell you? No,
Is it the
can't tell anybody.
DEATH?
Why are you spelling it? People can read.
So all the dogs sitting in will not listen.
It's because we have a 5-year-old.
Joe collectively treats the audience like a 5-year-old.
They'll never
sorry.
If
know.
I spell it, they won't fucking know. That's the funniest shit I've ever heard. Oh my god.
No one will
Because you
know.
did that sincerely. You didn't realize how fucked up that
Really
is.
tired. Anyway. Sorry,
guys.
guys.
But the punchline of this is I don't even know what you're spelling.
That's fine.
I got too distracted by the fact that you're spelling in an adult. Anyway, so it's going to be really fun to hear that ending, and it's going to be a cacophony of all these. Wait, cacophony is a bad thing. A crescendo. Of emotions and powers, and also Emily and I guess Ian and Alex are also contributing to 9 to Midnight this year, which I think comes out October
20th.
30th. Yeah, probably. Yeah, October 30th on all of the feeds that you might have seen it. That's Storage Papers, Parkdale Haunt, Malevolent, as well as Nowhere on Air, Wake of Corrosion, The Cellar Letters, The Town Whispers.
All
Everyone.
of those ones.
Everyone.
Out of the Ashes. There's like 11 of them. Hellgate City. Well, now I've
So it's
named
not-
too many that if I don't name all of them, we feel like an asshole.
It's not 9 to midnight anymore.
No. It's now like 12 shows or something.
12 to midnight doesn't have this.
Oh, is
Hey.
that where the name came from last year?
Originally it was 9 shows.
Didn't even realize.
Yep. But that
Next
doesn't
year.
really matter anymore.
No,
Next
it's
year it'll
fine.
be 35 to midnight.
Yeah, for real.
It's a little less
37.
catchy, but that's okay.
Well, we kept it this year, 9 to midnight. Except we got to use 2, so now it's like 9 to midnight.
Oh, because it's a sequel?
Yeah, so next year will be 9 through midnight.
He'll be 45 3 midnight. Doesn't.
I want it to be in there awkwardly.
9 through midnight.
9 through midnight. That's kind of works. 9 through.
It's so close to working, but it
so
doesn't
close to
quite.
We'll get there. We'll figure it out.
I wanted to say a
We have all
special
year to work on
hello to Marvin, who's joining us for a live stream tonight.
Hey!
Marvin's usually asleep, but he used to stay up really late and hang out with us. So hi, Marvin.
Marvin's one of our favorite people from the Discord. He's very weird, but in a good way.
We love him.
You'll notice because he's got a 5-fingered glove.
It's
as
a
his-
6-fingered
as his-
glove.
6-fingered glove is his profile picture.
And if you can see, all the tiny little fingertips are our faces that he drew and glued onto a glove so he could make a weird Invictus
He's one
finger
of those rare
puppet.
people that if he killed one of us, I wouldn't be surprised.
I
But
wouldn't even
also,
be that
I trust
mad.
him implicitly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He strikes that line between like someone I would get in a car with on a late road, but also would probably have a 50-50 chance of leaving again.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the lovable weirdo.
It's like, you know that if you'll be made into a lamp, it'll be made with love.
Exactly.
That's exactly
That's all I
right.
really want. I mean, real, what better way to be, used? I mean, okay, you get killed and tossed on the side of the road, but if you get killed and put into an object, I mean, come on.
That's immortality,
That's
right there.
immortality. Let someone caress the skin lampshade you become.
Correct.
Anyway, Call
Speaking of
Cthulhu.
which,
Do you have a different segue, or was that just the same segue we were going for?
No, we all saw the segue and we ran right for it with
I didn't
open
know.
arms.
Maybe Emily had an
Segue!
awesome random story about a skin lamp. I didn't want to ruin the chance.
When I
to
was
hear
in
that
Venice, I hung out with Ed Gein.
story. Ooh, God. I mean, Dahmer's a whole thing now, eh? The show that came out, and a lot of slew opinions on that. But we digress. That'll be for the talk show. That'll be for the after hours. Call of Cthulhu, The Haunting of Blackreef. A real quick recap. Feel free to throw in when I get things wrong, as I undoubtedly will. But essentially, Maxine Hart, played by my lovely wife below me, received a call from the brass asking her to investigate, basically by request, for the nearby town of Blackreef. She was on vacation with her friend, Isabella Riker, who is a writer, and shadowing her friend Maxine, sort of to learn about the next, novel plot and all that kind of fun stuff. They arrived in the town of Blackreef, where it was sort of a bit of a frosty reception. They checked in at the inn. They went next door to the bar, where they met a man named Isaiah
Ned.
Trolley. And Ned. Yeah, that's right.
I was so excited about the bartender. I forgot about her.
The bartender was there. Oh, and the other player in this game. But the bartender.
I'm sorry.
Who was paid to become their bodyguard. The three then sort of began the investigation of what happened to this town and to the children that died, which is what we found out. One, Peter Ward, fell from the bluffs of Blackreef, going on 4 or 5-ish months ago, early on in the summer. The next, a young girl named Wendy Prest, was found face down in a pond that she had swam in many times on her family farm. The third, David Bennett, was pulled out of a burning barn and had died of smoke inhalation. And last, 3 days ago upon their arrival, Nathaniel Doyle was found dead by the side of the road by suffocation by ingestion. He had choked on something that his mother had given him in the morning. The town convinced that something was awry. The mayor, not so much. Coincidences happen was sort of his blanket coding, but these three did not buy it. As they investigated the case around, they found a few interesting little tidbits. One, they found that, again, they were all ruled natural deaths, but that the townsfolk weren't convinced exactly on that. Sister Clementine and Father Carson allowed them to use the library/church, this book-filled library, as their sort of base of operations, though they've only been there once. Beyond that, they also learned that the Evans family, who was the family of Alice Evans, the witch that was burned many, many, many years ago in the 1750s, remained in a house at the top of the bluff, a house that they are going to see now. But this house now belongs to the Wards, obviously. And they also learned that children of the town from far back had claimed to have seen a creature in the hills behind Blackreef, and they saw a small picture in the tomes that sort of depicted a devilish figure. They also spoke to the morgue doctor, Dr. Everett Allister, where they found that everything was sort of in line with what they had believed about the last child's death, Nathaniel's death. But they also found a spinning wood top, some jacks, a note in the pocket of the deceased saying, "Thinking of you," with the initials EW, and that the boy was missing his coat, a maroon waistcoat that his mother has just bought him. No one had seen it. Then they went to the funeral, spoke a little bit more to the families, gathered a little bit of important information. From Tommy Burke, Nathaniel's best friend, the recently deceased, they found out that Nathaniel had made a new friend, that he didn't seem scared of him, but he didn't want to talk about it. And that the kids in the town know of the Blackreef witch, a figure, a woman in black. Some even say she has horns. And that there's a game detailed on a piece of paper that Martha Dwan gave to Isaiah, sort of under the threat of exposure, that outlined a series of, let's say, steps they could take to summon the Blackreef witch. Beyond that, they learned a little bit more about the kid's death, but nothing that were overwhelmingly interesting other than a man by the name of Roderick Bethune, a local fisherman who spends a lot of times out in the boat of his, a boat that has the Latin name the Long Tooth, which definitely struck Isabella, who realized that as odd. The kids in town call him Creep. The mayor apparently knows where he lives. And beyond that, a few people suggested you speak to Eleanor Ward, which you were on your way to. Did I cover everything important? I can't remember.
I think the only detail was that the children who were killed or who were accidentally died are all missing a tooth.
That's right. The most important detail. All of the children were missing a tooth.
And Isaiah's missing some teeth, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Isaiah did it. By the way, they're the bad guy. So, in case that didn't come out crystal clear, Isaiah did it. And
thank you so much to Colin Burkhart, who donated $50 Thank you for your generosity,
right
Colin.
Before we jump into it. Thank
really
you so
appreciate
much, Colin.
that.
Yeah. Well done, Colin.
I want to say, just in clearing my name, it wasn't me. It was all the sea devils. They're among us
You
everywhere.
would say that, Isaiah.
I mean, if I was to read the summary from Isaiah's point of view, it'd be very different. sea devils came to the town and started eating my child. And then the sea devils presented themselves in a noseless man who decided that these two
shark
women...
man.
Then the dock owner was a total dick.
I hate him so much, but I can't stop thinking about him.
That's right. So, without further ado, we are playing This Week and Next Week. Let us jump into it for a little bit of fun. Let us see what happened. Nope, that's dolls. Never mind.
I want to see it now.
No. For the one we're playing.
It's fun.
That's from last week. Here we go. Call of Cthulhu. It's always the same dream. Crash of waves upon rock, a black sky, a man with a crooked smile, a boat whose name has been scraped clean, a bluff, black as night, figure that watches you from afar, horns, blood. Are those hooves? Teeth. It's a dream that has plagued you since before you arrived here, Isabella. A dream that causes you to wake in a cold sweat. A dream that lingers even now as you walk to the top of the bluff. The sky growls hungrily, fat drops beginning to fall. As you approach, the three of you, in the afternoon light, the Ward household stands at the top of the black cliffs that line the seaside town of Blackreef. 4 deaths have occurred here over the last 6 months, all children, all unexpected. 1 drowned in a pond, 1 died of smoke inhalation, 1 choked to death. The first fell from these very bluffs you now find yourself climbing. He lived in that very house you now approach. That was his mother, apparently a recluse. She which you aimed to speak with. And as you approach the house, you see a shadowy figure from the inside watching you through the dark and darkening sky. The laneway presents itself. There is no car. It seems like anyone who would be leaving this place would do so on foot. Although from what you've heard, Eleanor doesn't leave much of the house. And as you feel these heavy drops starting to weigh down your coat, you kind of need to speak loudly over the rain. Who's leading the way?
Maxine is.
That's right. Maxine, you're cutting your way through the ground getting wet beneath your heels, starting to stick and slop.
Striding quickly up to the house, Maxine is frustrated. She feels like we're going to be ignored by this woman. This person who I suspect had been watching me from the top of the cliffs. And I look down now to the place where I was on the beach when I saw her. Yeah. Up at this cliff, and I can almost imagine how small I must have looked down there to whoever was watching me earlier. And then I look back up at the house. Can I roll a spot hidden?
Sure.
I want to see if there's anything extra that I should be observing.
Please do. Give me a spittin'.
Ooh, 10. That's a extreme success for me.
Nice. Good way to start it off.
Thank you.
You study the house, the facade. This house is old. Its architecture seems unlike the other buildings in this town. Very New England, very old country. It sort of sits at one point as if it were to slide off the side, but has been repaired well with cement fixtures and straps, keeping it up on its back, you know. But it feels like it's been in disrepair over the past few years now. Again, it's sort of paint faded. And as you approach, you see this shadowy figure sort of watching you. She seems draped in a white blanket, unlike you saw her previous, if it was indeed her you saw. And she studies you. You lock eyes for a moment. And as you sort of approach the house, she sort of steps back. Beyond that, you notice that it's a 3-story house, and that the tallest window of the house, a small round window, seems slightly ajar.
I turn to Isabella and I point up at the window that looks like it's ajar. And I say, it's strange for her to leave the window open with the rain coming down like this.
Yes. As you hear the thunder crack around you. Kapoo!
Thank you so much to Anaya, sorry, for the $20 donation.
Hey!
Anaya, I apologize for mangling your name. Thank you for your generosity.
Thank you so much. I won't kill them thanks to you. So, Isabella, Isaiah, you approach Maxine. The three of you sort of maybe make it to the house. You're on the awning. There's a small wooden step. It sort of sinks softly. The sea air kind of getting into the woods. Isaiah, you're very familiar with this. It's like stepping onto a dock.
It's almost comforting.
There's rot deep within these bones, and you can tell. What is Isaiah thinking? What does he say?
Well, right now, correct me if I'm wrong, we are still outside, approaching the front door? Yeah.
Yep.
So right now, Isaiah is just kind of keeping huddled inside of the massive shell of his coat. Has one hand on the little like coach gun he keeps inside it. But other than that, Isaiah got his big ramble out of the way. Now he's back on bodyguard duty. His mission seems clear: to guard Maxine, but then also hopefully stop either of them from horribly offending this perfectly righteous woman.
Perfect. And Isaiah, you notice that this figure in the window as well sort of steps away, but other than that, you don't look too much more into it. However, Isabella, as you approach, you have an odd sense of familiarity, not with the house, but as your eyes sort of linger upwards to the window that Maxine pointed out, they sort of fall upon the sky, the darkening sky, that almost appears to quickly grow black. For a moment, you're taken back to your dream. These dark clouds overhead that seem to have moved in so quickly from the seaside kind of send a chill up your spine as you approach.
I'm getting deja vu again, but I think that might mean that we're in the right place.
Oh, yes. It would. You being an oracle at all.
This definitely seems like a place you would set one of your novels.
Well, yes, certainly that, but I don't know. It's reminding me of those dreams again, but I want to talk to her. Should we just knock on the door?
Yeah, I mean, put it this way. It's passing strange that a woman wouldn't come to the funeral to wish the parents of her son's friend well. I understand that people deal with grief in all kind of ways, but I smell something strange here. Maxine walks up the steps and shakes the raindrops from her coat and raps on the door.
Perfect. 2 raps in, the door opens, and you see standing on the other side is a small woman. She looks to be in her mid-30s. Her features are very sharp. Her eyes very dark, as if her pupils are only black, no color whatsoever. Her nose almost bird-like. She seems very fragile in a way as she sort of stands wrapped in a blanket. Her hair is straight and blonde, although it looks almost gray in the light. And there's a nervous energy about her. Her neck, you can see, is almost strained upwards, as if she's trying to give herself a taller appearance. And with curious eyes, she studies the 3 of you and says nothing. She just stands there.
Good afternoon. Mrs. Ward, I presume?
Yes? What do you want?
I'm Maxine Hart. We're just here to ask you some questions, if that's all right.
Questions about what?
There have been some strange goings-on around town. We thought you might know something, or perhaps you just want to talk.
I don't want to talk, no.
Is there anything we can do to change your mind?
Well, I don't think so, no. And she sort of goes to begin shutting the door.
Ma'am, please. It would be very helpful to us if you could answer some questions. We won't take up too much of your time, I promise.
Yeah, she sort of has this hesitancy about her as her eyes dart between the 3 of you. Anyone want to say something, roll something? Isabella, maybe you try to connect with her. Why don't you give me a charm roll or something, or a fast talk roll if you want to get some info from her? Because you seem the most motivated to talk to her.
Okay, I'm gonna try charm.
Nice. So give me a charm roll.
Okay, 20, so that's a success.
Nice! Yeah. So what do you say to her?
You have a really beautiful home here, and it's a beautiful town, but I sense that there's a certain amount of darkness, and I think that we might be able to help you lift that darkness and bring this place back to the beauty it once was. So if we could just talk to you just for a moment.
Maxine shoots Isabella kind of like a strange look.
And yeah, Eleanor sort of stops shutting the door. She looks again between the 3 of you, almost looks past you to the edge of the woods behind you that sort of careen up this bluff. And for a moment, her eyes sort of fall on something in the middle distance that you don't turn to look at, obviously. And after a moment, she sort of nods and says, okay, quickly. And the 3 of you step in. And she shuts the door and locks it. Not that severely. More like that. She shuts it. And she locks it, and she gestures behind her to a large sitting room.
Thank you.
Please. Tea?
Awesome.
Would anyone like a cup of tea, or?
Tea would be lovely, thank you.
I could take a tea, absolutely. Thank you
Yes,
for allowing us
please.
into your establishment. Good miss.
You're welcome. I'll just be a moment. And she sort of trots off, leaving you standing sort of in the front hall. And you're in this large gray lobby area of this almost mansion-like home. To your right, it seems to be a dining room. To your left, this large, long living space that seems to feed off into what might be a music room. But there's no real doors here. It all seems very open. There's a staircase that moves up and turns to the second floor, but everything seems bathed in this gray light. There's no real distinguishing color in anything else. And it doesn't feel necessarily like there's absence of color, just something about the way the day illuminates through these windows just give it this sort of drawn feel. as you move around.
Maxine's shrugging off her wet overcoat as she walks through this big open house, and her eyes are catching on all the little details all around. Do I see any paintings or photographs of her late husband and son?
Yeah, give me a spot hidden. Isaiah, what are you going to do?
Isaiah is taking his boots off at the front door, but
So
his socks, his many-holed socks are very wet beneath. So he's just kind of like slapping after a couple seconds down the hallway, following Maxine.
That's so good.
Just
I
a
know a friend
normal
just like
success.
that. Isabella, what are you doing in the meantime?
I'm also just trying to peer around to see anything and everything. I'm really curious if there are any kind of family mementos or family photos, or if it seems like she's put it all away. Is there dust? Does it seem like she's been keeping up her house?
Okay. Are you all looking in the lobby, or are you looking in the lobby living room, or are you going sort of off where you can immediately see? So Maxine, I imagine you walking towards the living room.
Yes.
Are you all sort of doing the same track? Everything you trying to splinter off?
Whatever way Maxine goes, I'll go the other way.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. And Isaiah, you're going with Maxine.
No,
I
Isaiah's sitting on his ass in the front hall taking his boots off.
No, you said he'd follow after.
Once the boots are, well, see, like follows Maxine for a second, but then Emily disappears in a different direction, and then Emily is the one who pays Isaiah's bills. So I think for a moment he's kind of stuck, like, wait, which person do I bodyguard? And then he just resolves to keep standing in the foyer for this woman to come back, because it'll be rude if she comes back with tea and everyone's gone. So
What if she
great.
needs help, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, I think his inspection is limited to just kind of inspecting the foyer, just noting any coats that are hanging up. Are there shoes? Does this lady have garden boots? Are there any cool walking sticks in the umbrella stand? That's the purview of Isaiah's world right now.
Perfect. Isaiah, also give me a roll, and Isabella, you give me a roll.
Front hall based investigation.
So Maxine, you had a regular success as you move into the lobby. Yeah, you see this sort of comfortable sitting area, a large white couch are sitting across from two comfortable sitting chairs. None of them seem to be used in any matter of time, and a coffee table sits between them. You peruse sort of a number of pictures in the front window. All of them seem to be old photographs. You see an elderly couple, perhaps her parents or her husband's parents. You see a picture of a child, which you kind of can put together it being the deceased son. And as you continue on and your eyes fall over the fireplace, you see a portrait, not lavishly brought out, just sort of on the mantle of a small family, the three of them. You recognize her, much more full of life, much happier. Her husband, a short-haired, sort of tall man with equally severe features, and the boy you now recognize from the photo, only years younger.
I pick up the photo and I stare into the eyes of these people, of the husband who, the official story we know is that he's missing, but looking into these faces they would have an answer for me.
Yeah. Isaiah, what do you roll?
A fail.
Yeah, so you stand in the lobby, you think you see a snake, but it's just an umbrella in a bucket.
I'm kind of intrigued by this snake carved umbrella handle.
No, it's just an umbrella.
To you, maybe.
But yeah, that's a thing. And
now, while we're at it, though, within the purview of just normal looking around, are there any other coats hanging here? Are there? Is there the coat of a gentleman caller, perhaps?
good question. No. In fact, there does seem to be a little boy's coat, but it doesn't seem to be used anytime recently.
Is it
Can I-
maroon?
Can I go rooting through his pockets?
Oh, Oh, sure. Yeah, you root through the pockets. Meanwhile, Isabella, you walk the other way, which is sort of the dining room area, and you know that Eleanor walked sort of the length of the hallway to the kitchen in the back, and you all kind of still hear her moving around. And what did you roll, Isabella?
I succeeded. A regular success.
Brilliant. As you look around the dining room, you see that it's sort of only one chair used. You know, it seems to be pulled out, pushed in, pulled out, pushed in. Sort of the one end of the table is set, you know, as if she eats alone, if not every night, but most nights. There's a blanket draped over the back, and on the sideboard, a few empty bottles of wine. And as you sort of walk around and take a look, you see there's a stack of paper, as if to write notes, sort of on a writing desk just off this room. A paper which you recognize. It seems familiar to you, and you recognize this as the same paper stock that you found in the pocket of the deceased boy. A note that you found that said, "Thinking of you, E.W."
Huh. Can I look through the papers to see if anything's written, or are they just blank
It's a
pages?
blank stack. Yeah, you sort of flick through them just to check, but it seems that they are blank. However, they are sort of a pad, you know.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to do there? You kind of hear her, you know, pouring the water and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, nothing else I want to do here.
Perfect. And you hear her sort of heels click back down the hall, and presumably you join Maxine and Isaiah in the sitting room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she comes with 4 cups of tea, sits down on one of the solitary chairs, and says, "Here you are," and hands you each a cup of tea.
Thank you.
So, how can I help you?
Well, Mrs. Ward, we were asked by my police agency to come and investigate the murders in the town, or the deaths, I should say, of these children. So I would appreciate your cooperation in answering a few questions, please.
Sure. And as you talk, the creaking of the house and the rain in the windows sort of gives the claustrophobic feeling as almost being underwater with this woman.
Now, as I understand it, ma'am, your son Peter was the first in this line of very tragic deaths.
Yes, he fell off the bluffs.
Can you tell me anything at all that you can remember about that day? Where were you? How did you find out?
I found him the way most of the people in this town found him. In the morning. I heard a commotion down on the waterfront and looked over the bluff to see him standing there, or lying there, I should say. He must have left his bed in the middle of the night. I was home, sound asleep throughout the entire thing.
And your husband, was this before, or how long has he been missing?
Oh, no, my husband's been missing for over a year now.
I'm sorry to hear that. It must have been very difficult to raise Nathaniel on your own. Or
Yes.
sorry, not Nathaniel.
Peter.
Peter.
Yes, well, yes, my husband was a lovely man, she says, and as she does, she sort of grits her teeth.
When
We
was
don't have like an insight roll, do we?
You can do whatever you want.
Sorry, go ahead, William.
your husband did disappear? I'm not from here. I don't know the full story. Was it just vanished in the night, went out for milk and never came back, became a fisherman?
Yeah, something like that. He left one day to drive up to Leary and never came back. He must have found something better for him. But Peter and I are fine on our own here.
Has he never tried to contact you at all in that time?
No, he never wanted to be much of a father. He married for my family's money, and I suppose when that ran dry, he found other interests.
And did you ever try to contact him after Peter's death?
No, I didn't want to.
How would you say the relationship was between Peter and his father? Not too bright from the sounds of it.
Well, Peter was a difficult child. He acted out quite a lot. He had a difficult time coping after his father left specifically. It became somewhat worse, but Father Carson helped quite a bit. I'm happy to say that when Father Carson arrived, he showed a lot of care to Peter, made him feel what his father never could.
Acting out, what kind of behaviors would you say those were?
Well, there were a few missing animals that were found on our property that had been killed, that Peter had hurt.
That's acting out?
Well, yes, in a few different ways. He also would talk back to his teachers in school, and had a bit of a temper at times.
Did Peter acknowledge that he had injured these animals?
In a matter of speaking, why is this important?
Please, ma'am, this is all just part of our investigation.
Well, and again, you see her jaws clench tightly as she speaks. Yes, Peter would hurt animals, I suppose. And she sort of reaches forward and takes a long sip of tea.
We're really sorry to bring up these painful memories, but we are trying to get to the bottom of this. Can you tell me, do you believe that your son's death was an accident?
I've spent a lot of time trying to think how to answer a question like that. The people down there called me crazy when I said anything other than that it was an accident. And now that 3 more children have died, I can hear them down there. Without ever needing to set foot outside this house, I can hear them. The same thought rolling over in their minds. Do I think my boy's death was an accident? No, I don't.
We certainly don't think you're crazy. We've been hearing this again and again, and we just want to get to the bottom of it. But can I ask you what you think did happen then, if it wasn't an accident?
I think it was... I don't know. I think it was this place, this town, this house. It's alive. It has a soul of its own. It has a presence. I couldn't feel it the way my husband couldn't. It's alive.
Have strange things been happening in the house, in the town, since your son's death?
No, nothing like that. Well, other than the children, of course, but I can feel that something in this house is wrong.
Mrs. Ward, this is the house of the Evans family, is that correct?
Yes.
And what do you think about those tales?
Well, I think they're true, more or less. The girl was killed in that town down there, and her family lived here afterwards.
And about her spirit, we've done some reading at the church. You say that the father, Carson, was quite close with your son after his father left. Did they ever talk about that together, to your knowledge?
I don't see why not. And as much as this house has a voice, Alice Evans never lived here. While this house was being built, they lived in a cabin north of town. In fact, I think Roderick owns that now. He's been fixing it up, as far as I'm aware.
So you know Roderick?
Most of the town who's been here long enough knows Roderick.
But you are you friends with Roderick?
Well, he delivers me groceries, yes.
That's kind of him.
Why I don't set foot outside this house.
Can I ask why you don't set foot outside the house?
And she looks out the window through the rain. It's pouring down on the glass, obfuscating everything beyond. It just looks like a swirling pool of water, but she stares as if she's seeing something beyond. Something's out there. I feel it. I've heard it at night, watching over the town. Something stands on the bluffs and moves about. I don't trust the outside.
I could have sworn that I saw you last night, standing on the bluffs. Was that not you?
And she looks at you. I don't leave this house.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm not meaning to call into question your statement. I'm just clarifying.
I know.
Did you find... after you, Miss Stryker.
You go first, Isaiah. I always find your perceptions to be illuminating.
Well, I was
Maxine
curious.
shoots another strange look at Isabella.
She's possessed.
This house, having belonged to the Evans, did you ever find anything of theirs left in the attic? Documents, recordings, scratchings on the wall of a child's room, that sort of thing?
Again, you see her jaw tighten. I did not know.
Maybe your son, then? Or your husband?
And her eyes dart towards you at the mention of her husband. I don't think so, no.
Would it be possible to take a look at your son's bedroom?
The police already have, but I suppose so. And you can roll psychology at any point, by the way. You know that, right? You can
Yeah,
roll
I
and-
tried, but I did a bad job.
Psychology, Right.
Yeah, psychology.
My
or...
psych's only a 10.
Oh, I have good psychology. I'm going to roll psychology.
Do
Okay,
it.
go
Do
for
it.
Oh, no, I failed.
Yeah, you don't know what's up. Isaiah, you want to try psychology in case you're really good at it?
He is, though.
Isaiah, frankly, is not. He takes everything she says at face value.
Perfect.
By the by, do you know where the old cabin is? The one where Roderick's fixing up?
I can draw you a map if you'd like. Do you wish to speak with him?
Oh, that'd be perfect. Wanted to talk to him about renting a boat.
I doubt he'd be there. He's most often in his boat. I don't
So
think
good.
he even stays there, but I can draw you, sure. And she stands up and walks over to that notepad that you sort of caught out earlier.
I was just going to say, was Peter close with any of the other children who have also passed away? Did you know them at all?
I not too much. I know he was close to Nathaniel, but that's about it.
After Peter died, did you have much contact with Nathaniel?
Well, I let him know I was thinking of him. I gave Roderick a note to hand to the young boy on his last delivery. I was worried, obviously.
Why were you worried?
And she sort of stops and turns around. My child died. Nathaniel was a close friend. Wouldn't you worry?
Of course I would. It's perfectly understandable.
And she turns back and heads back to her notepad and begins sketching. And without turning, she says, his room is at the top of the stairs to the left. I'd rather not go up there if it's all the same.
Of course.
We go up there and we tear the fucking place apart.
I'm going to go up there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to vandalize it, though.
I think if the detectives are going up to investigate the room, Isaiah politely is going to like keep having tea with the lady downstairs and like not just leave her alone in her own living room.
Cool.
So,
Gentleman.
Yeah.
That's what Isaiah's doing.
So she comes back to you, Isaiah, hands you a small little kind of hand-drawn map and sits down across from you as Maxine and Isabella head up. Maxine, Isabella, you reach the top of the stairs to see a door to the left shut tight. And about 3 other doors at the top of the stairs. But you kind of can tell which one is the one.
Okay. Well, I'm immediately drawn to the door that's shut tight. That's my vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as you open it, you are presented with a young boy's room. It overlooks the side of the house, overlooks the bluffs. It is a simple bed, not of lavish means, but definitely has some money. A blue bedspread and dark wood headboard. There's a carpet on the floor and a dresser and a myriad of small trinkets on a bookshelf to the side. Drawings around the window frame. It is a scene of sadness, of coldness, of stillness. You feel your heart ache as you move through the room.
So can I do a spot hidden?
Yes, you can. Give it a ring.
Okay. Haha! Success.
Nice.
Yes. Maxine, are you going to do the same?
Yeah, Maxine's kind of muttering to herself after we get up into the second story, and she starts kind of looking in the rooms as we pass going down the hall. She's like, makes sense, you know, the father gone, young boys gonna feel untethered.
I don't know what to make of that father, though. It seems like things were tense even before he left.
It's hard to know. I wish that more people knew this family. I rolled a 49.
Nice. Is that
But it
success,
seems
though?
like, yes,
Okay.
but it seems like they kept to themselves so much.
And what do you think? Do you think she's really not leaving the house? We saw her, didn't we?
I find it hard to believe that she would stay here all these months. Maybe she is going through some kind of emotional mental break where she doesn't realize. Maybe she's sleepwalking. I could have sworn I saw her on the bluffs here.
I mean, it makes sense that she would be going through a psychological break after everything she's been through, and she's all alone in this house, which frankly is very foreboding.
Let's just see if we can find any evidence about what might have happened here on the days leading up to the accident.
So Maxine, you rolled, and where were you looking specifically?
In the bedroom, I'm going to investigate the bed. So under the bed, between the mattress and the frame, behind the bed, on the headboard, all that.
Perfect. And Isabella, you rolled a success as well, and you're sort of just looking around. Where? The other side?
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking around the perimeter and maybe checking to see if there's any loose floorboards or anywhere a kid would hide something. A diary,
Nice.
maybe.
Very smart.
Man, this just reminds me of our our son who lost and then, man.
He sleeps every night with this little blue chipmunk that he calls Blue Chipmunk.
So creative.
Yeah, it's very cute. And we won him at Canada's Wonderland, actually. Or he won him at, I should say. But so every night he sleeps with this little tiny doll, every single night, little stuffy. And last night we're putting him to bed, and he just can't find the thing, like anywhere.
Harlan looks. I look.
Tears
The
room apart,
whole
tears the
bedroom.
thing apart. So we give him his old favorite doll, which we call Baby. It's a little penguin. So he goes to bed with Baby. This morning I come to his room, wake him up, open the door. He's holding Blue Chipmunk. I go, where'd you find him? He goes, oh, no, he was just in bed. And I'm like, no.
He was not
I was
in
like, no,
bed.
Mom and I tore it apart. It was not in there. You must have hidden him. He's like, no. I'm like, Henry, you clearly hit him. He goes, no. And he goes, and you know what's weird? I can't find Baby. So the one he went, and then I'm like, what? So I tear it apart. I can't find it anywhere. So I'm like, hold on. You went to bed with one
I
stuffy.
swear, this stuffed animal was nowhere to be seen.
We
I
looked
stripped the bed,
everywhere.
under the bed, in the closet,
So
like
somehow
everywhere.
we went to bed. He went to bed with this little blue or this little pink stuffy, and woke up with a blue one, and they just swapped out. So me being, he's like 5, right? So I'm kind of like, Henry, like they're getting that age of lying, and I'm kind of like, tell me now. And he's like, no, I swear. To like the point of like he's getting emotional a little bit. I'm like, okay. Well, I mean, it's not the first time he's done it, right? So I'm like, okay, fine, I believe you. And I'm like, so what's the answer, Henry? Something crawled into your room and swapped it out? And he's like, maybe.
Harlan texts me. He's like, did you find Blue Chipmunk and like swap it
In
out?
my morning, I
No.
was like, okay, well, Joe found it and swapped it. And she's like,
Kids are so scary sometimes.
for real. He was like standing there holding it in the morning. I was like, oh. Anyway, so
Kids
Don't do
hide
that.
shit all over the place sometimes.
Yeah, that's the
I
takeaway.
think he is messing with us, but he just felt like if he told us that he was messing with us, then maybe he would get in trouble or something. You know what I
I
mean?
don't think so.
No.
He doesn't
I mean-
know that you would respect it.
Yeah. like, good job. Game recognized game, Henry.
Game recognized.
But now we're thinking we're going to have to hide this stuffy around because it's the wandering chipmunk now.
Yeah.
I just think someone else came into our house. But anyway, so yeah, you are looking, Maxine, around the bed, and Isabella, you are looking over the floorboards and all that kind of stuff. As you look around the bed, Maxine, you don't see too much. It seems more or less pretty normal. You see, however, tucked under the pillow is a Bible, a small Bible, but not unusual.
I pick it up.
Yeah, you flip through it. It seems old, doesn't have a name associated with it at all, but it seems to be well used. And Isabella, as you look around the rest of the room, your eyes fall upon a drawing that immediately jumps out to you, not from a depiction you've seen in a book, but one that you've seen in a dream.
Oh boy.
It's a figure of black. It's reminiscent of almost a witch, and yet it has horns and blood and hooves and teeth. Meanwhile, Isaiah, you're sitting across from Eleanor, the two of you sort of having chats here and there. And every once in a while you catch her eyes sort of falling over to the picture of her family that sits on the mantle.
Why are you still here?
What do you mean?
Well, for instance, I lost my own son a few months back. One night, he got lost over the edge of the fishing boat we had. And when I came back, of course, they thought I'd done it. But it would have been remarkably easy, in the month's sense, to just toss myself off after him, follow along. But I have resisted doing so because I will not rest until I have had my vengeance. So that is why I am here. Why are you still here?
And she thinks on your question for a moment. What if you had killed your son, Isaiah? Would you stay here or would you leave?
Well, I didn't.
Question stays.
If I had killed my son, then I would have stood there on the edge of the boat, and I would have gone right after him. And that's the end. That was the only good thing left of this meager life I've scraped together for myself.
And what if he wasn't good?
Well, he wasn't. Yeah, children are awful, but you can't hold that against them. They're just children. They don't know what they're doing any more than we do. I don't believe anyone's good, really.
And what if he wasn't a child?
Well, he'll always be my child. He was a young man. He was not as young as yours, I believe. You're trying to get at something here, and I don't want to take you away from it. What are you trying to say?
I just am curious if you believe in evil, Isaiah.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And if you saw the face of evil grow upon your son or your husband, and her eyes flick again to the mantle and back to you, what would you do?
Probably two things. First off, this is not simply a hypothetical for me. There is evil. I have known it. It lurks in the deep. It crawls out of the volcanic vents in the bottom of the sea, and it plagues mankind, but mostly that is evils they've brought upon themselves. And it has occurred to me throughout all of these dark dealings that maybe my son did not meet a peaceful end. Maybe he has been taken by the sea devils, reborn, altered by their evil powers. And if he clawed back to me with fell-befinned arms and reeking of the bottom of the sea, a bloated corpse, nothing, I would ask him, Nedry, are you still my boy? And if he said, I remember you, Father, maybe we could work something out. And if he tried to drag me down, I'd put up a fight, but I'm not sure I'd want to win.
I have seen evil, Isaiah. I say this to you, and not them. I don't think they've seen evil the way you and I may have seen evil. And she leans close, and she puts her teacup down. We know these cliffs. We know these waters. We know what they can hold. We know what spirits walk these shores. My son was not evil. He was not wrong. He did not hurt an animal the way they claim he did, the way I had to tell them he did. But my husband was evil, Isaiah. My husband was wrong. And my husband killed me and would have killed our boy. And you ask me why I can't leave this place. And with her foot she taps the floorboard 3 times. Because I can't afford someone else to turn over any stones. And she sits back.
I understand. I have one last question for you then, if you'd be so kind.
Of course.
What is it that's stalking you outside this house?
That I do not know. I think it affected my husband stronger here than it did before, but he was always a vicious and violent man. He was always one to hurt things and people. And And a night came when I could handle no more. I feared for my life, and I feared for my son. But he has nothing to do with these deaths, and he has nothing to do what lurks in those woods outside on that bluff. That is something old, and something ancient, and something that you and you alone can stop. Be careful, Isaiah.
Would you care for another cup?
Yes, I think so. And she stands up and takes your cup and walks to the back.
What's that, Isabella?
It looks like the figure from my dreams, a demon of some kind, but I don't know why this would be in this child's bedroom. It seems like he drew it, but I don't understand how we could see the same figure. This doesn't make any sense, Maxine.
I'm sure it's just something that he saw probably in this book. Just the fancies of a child's imagining. This
No, you don't understand. This is the exact same figure from my dream. There's no way. I've never seen this outside of my dreams. There's no way.
Maxine walks over to the door to the child's room, and she shuts it behind her slowly, and then puts her back against the door and shakes her head. Listen, Isabella, I appreciate these creative whimsies, these flights of fancy, but we are trying to solve a real murder here. And I don't think you really understand how these diversions are distracting us from the task at hand. Now, I've invited you on this vacation, and I appreciate your company. I do. But this is going too far.
What is going too far? I'm following your lead on this investigation every step of the way. I am just telling you what I have seen.
What you are doing is applying your own biases to this case.
And you're not biased.
God damn it, Isabella. Of course I am. Half the shit that I've seen, the things that I've seen, of course I'm biased. I want to solve this more than anybody. But people like you and Isaiah don't understand that real evil comes from inside people, not from demons, not from sea devils, not from dreams, okay? They come from sick people. People who could have been influencing this child's life for years. Maybe his father. Or someone who has insinuated himself into this child's life after the loss of a parent or guardian. And she holds up the Bible like this priest, maybe. Someone who's come to him in a vulnerable moment and spoken evil words into his mind and made him think like he should end it all. Or worse, did something to him and then covered it up. It's up to us to figure out what's really going on here and looking at this innocent drawing, this fanciful caricature, and claiming it as a clue is doing nothing for our investigation. And like I said, I appreciate you being here, and I love that you are getting ideas for your novels, and by all means, take this as an idea, but that's where it ends. It has to.
Maxine. Okay. You are the investigator. This is your job. I will follow your lead here, but I think you're making a mistake in discounting all of this out of hand. But you're right. Why did Father Carson not mention any of this kind of relationship that he had with the child? Why is the Bible
right
there? I don't know, and I frankly find that quite disturbing. I'm just asking you, perhaps open your mind just the smallest bit, Let's keep going with the realm of logic. What we found out is that, of course, it is always people who are the most evil of all. Let's keep going.
She opens the door. This heated argument settled now, and nods for you to follow her back downstairs.
Inspiration for everybody,
Yay!
including myself. Great role playing, everybody. Yeah, Isaiah, you see Maxine and Isabella heading back downstairs as Mrs. Ward sort of walks you all to the door.
Found some things to talk about up there, did you?
Yes. Thank you very much for giving us your time and for letting us into your space.
Of course. And thank you for keeping me company, Isaiah. She nods, kind of a knowing, like, what we talked about never leaves this room type look. You know that look too well, Isaiah. And
I know you don't leave the house these days, and that's quite all right. But if you ever want to get a hold of me, tell Roderick to send me a message. He knows where to find me.
Of course, yes. Well, good luck, and I hope you find what you're looking for, but I hope you stay safe. And
Thank
she
you.
opens the door to the pouring rain outside and shuts it with the three of you standing on the porch.
I feel like we all just look out at the rain for a minute.
Well, she was nice.
Yeah, smoking so much.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I need to cool off after that
Hot altercation.
hot altercation.
Ooh, spicy.
buddy.
Yeah, I love the idea that, like, Maxine's like kind of breathing the fire out of her lungs. Isabella's kind of like trying to fight, and then Isaiah's just standing between, completely oblivious, but
The
also
fucking crab just
also
on his shoulder.
learning the most heavy shit out of the three of you, and he's like totally fine with it. He's like, yes, there's a dead man buried in this house.
I will now check my pockets, because earlier I'd gone through the kids' coats pockets.
Yes.
Now I imagine there might be a couple little seashells or something. Was there anything else besides that, and like some gravel?
Yeah, it's
So
very
cute.
kid pocket. Like a few rocks.
Literal fucking
little-
pounds of rocks.
He wanted to be a geologist. Aw.
Aw.
Anyway, yeah, no, you don't. Great idea, but you don't find anything too telling because, again, it's been about 4 or 5 months, so they probably would have checked the pockets and stuff.
Well, I
Did
mean,
you
it's these kids' favorite rocks. It's nothing to write off.
clues? Every last one of them.
Horse apples.
Isaiah, did you get the drawing for the cabin?
Oh, yes, Roderick's abode I have here. Now, that she was kind enough to point out to me, the square is the cabin, and this rectangle is the house, and then this line between it is the road you take. There's a
Being
big
that
rock.
you are the
There's a tall
navigator
tree.
between the three of us, I presume you can get us there. The woods
Not
are
without the stars.
the
How does
woods
anyone navigate without those?
not as the sea, but close, I presume, somehow, for some reason.
Well, I only got lost a couple of times, so yes, I can navigate us with this. Is that our next destination then? Well, did you find anything to make your trip worthwhile?
I did. She holds out this Bible that she's taken from the child's room.
No,
I think we need to speak with Father
Carson.
Carson again. And Isabella found a drawing.
No,
Let's not start this. I don't want to get in this.
No, Isabella found a drawing.
drawing of what? What would you say?
Can I retcon that I also pocketed the drawing and just pass it to Isaiah?
Sure, why not? You can steal from a dead child's bedroom.
It's in the pursuit of truth. God damn it, Harlan.
The mother hasn't gone up there since the child died. She's not gonna miss it.
Okay, because I don't want to talk about it, so I'm just gonna slip it over to Isaiah and just be like, you can see what you make of this.
Oh, well, no, that clicks. My child was half decent for his age. I wish I could draw like that. There you go.
Oh, wrong picture. That's a nude.
Yeah. Of his mom. What? What was happening in this house?
Got some weird vibes. All
Yeah,
of a
so
sudden.
we take off, I guess, back into the rain and through the woods.
We're gonna head to Roderick's cabin.
We're already up on the bluffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, the map is drawn from the perspective of the house you're at. So you'd have to come back up here to kind of head that way.
Let's do it.
As we're walking, I would like to ask Isaiah if he had any interesting conversations while we were gone.
I'm just gonna
It
walk
seemed
like a
like-
couple steps ahead or behind or whatever to give them some space, just smoking moodily.
Oh, very much so. She's a fascinating character. She's really manifested strength in the face of great troubles. I respect her for that.
All right. Nothing pertaining to the case. It seemed like you two were really getting
It's
along.
my favorite thing about role playing when a player knows something and the other player knows something, and they just want the characters to share it, but one character
Dice
doesn't
shame.
want to share it.
Dice shame.
Oh, I love it. It's so good.
Tell me your
I can't
thing.
keep the picture, damn it.
No, it's good. It's so it's perfect though. It would make
Oh,
total
wow.
sense too.
Oh, I mean, I found in her a kindred spirit. We're both intent on destroying the evil that plagues this coast. So it was nice to have someone who, respects me and doesn't belittle me like a child when talking about these very serious matters.
I can't hear you.
What? What?
Wait, how far away is Maxine? Like, can she
Oh,
hear us?
I can be like as far away as you need me to. If you want to dish about how I took you down a few pegs, I can.
No,
be a good 15
Isaiah
minutes
will
behind
gladly
you.
do that 5 feet away from you.
Oh no! Well, I was just gonna consult with Isaiah about
Do
my
it, do it.
dreams, but I wouldn't
Oh,
do
yeah.
that if Maxine could hear.
No, do it. I'm a little ways behind you. Actually, my cigarette's having trouble lighting in the rain, so I've stopped and I'm like hunched over.
Okay. Isaiah, you've been calling me an oracle, and I don't know what that means, but all I know is that picture that I saw drawn. I've seen that figure in my dreams again and again. What do you think it means? Because I don't know what to make of it, and I'm getting a little bit scared. And Maxine refuses to listen to me.
You know lighthouses?
Yes, I'm familiar with lighthouses.
The concept is familiar, Isaiah. I love it.
Lighthouse
awesome.
stands on the edge of the shore. And it
Starts to
shines-
explain anyway.
and it shines its light out onto the water. And all those sailors, like myself, we look out and we see that light and we think, oh, there's land there. There's a shoreline we need to avoid, and there's a harbor to dock into. We know what it means. The lighthouse doesn't know why it shines. It doesn't know what that light means. It only knows that the light is pouring out of its eye, and that from here it can see the town and the ships and see them pass. And in the same way, your dreams are a light to guide us, but it is no fault of yours if you do not know what they mean. The rest of us appreciate their value.
All right, I get the metaphor. I am also a writer, but so what are you seeing? What do you see when you're looking at the lighthouse? What do you see in this light?
Oh, well, if you in the picture, you mean?
Yes, in the picture. What does the picture mean? God, between the two of you.
This is called the Enough of Their Shit episode.
I'm surprised you haven't pieced that, but that's Alice. She's been
demon?
permutated.
The
Oh
demon
no,
is Alice?
Alice was a human girl. She's been taken in the company of the Sea Devils. They've refurbished her soul into a monstrous thing to terrorize, to send her back to inflict justice in some cruel way upon all the others that were in a situation like her. That I think is the best depiction of Alice we have seen so far.
So that means that Peter saw Alice.
Oh yes.
Do you think Peter spoke to Alice? Do you think that Alice is the cause of Peter's death?
I still suspect that Peter might have made his way to the graveyard to complete this little ritual thing and been pulled into it that way. But Eleanor was rather specific. Alice has been haunting this area for a good while. This very forest, in fact, that we are passing through.
Are we almost there?
I was going to say, as you're heading back, Maxine, you're trying to light, and you're kind of, and there's a moment where you're just kind of there alone. You're lighting it, you're kind of kicking, and you just sort of get a final flame. And there's a moment, and through your lips, cigarette-laden lips, you sort of smile, and the flame goes out with a blow. And there's a moment where you're holding the lighter close, a perplexed look on your face, and you look to your left, to the tree line, the large empty spaces between trees that seem almost bare in the darkening sky. And you look between them at the negative space that seems to stretch on and on until the light no longer touches like a deep water. For a moment, you swear you can see something staring at you from between those trees. And just as your eyes tighten and try to adjust to make sense of the image, you hear a whisper on your other side. And it says, "Run." And as you look, there's nothing there.
I take a few steps and then quicken. And I break out into kind of a little shuffling walk, almost a skip, trying to get away from what I just experienced, but feeling too
Proud?
too proud to run.
Yeah.
And I almost catch my heel on a tree root and almost trip. And if I had been going faster, maybe I would have. And my mind just fucking reels with the possibility of what would have caught up to me if I had fallen in this forest in the dark, in the rain by myself. And I stumble. And then that's when I holler like, "Isaiah, are we almost there?"
And you see Maxine running up to the two of you, unlit cigarette in her mouth, sort of a panicked look on her face.
Everything all right?
Yes. Yes. Sorry, I just was startled by an animal.
I'm just gonna quietly pass her my cigarette, which I did manage to light.
Yes. We do that like thing.
Yeah.
There's a knowing look between the two of you. And as the three of you sort of catch up to one another and your instructions are more or less followed, you have a break in the trees to see a small, quaint cabin. It sits accessed by somewhat of a road to your left that seems to lead from another part of the town. The path you followed, obviously a trodden one that Roderick must follow when he brings groceries to Eleanor. One that maybe she would only know. And as you approach, you sort of come from the side of the house. It sits in the darkening late afternoon sky, early evening, cloudy and thick drops of rain. It's difficult to even make out where the edges of the building end and the trees begin. It is dark inside. There is no light, no car, seemingly no one home.
So it's important for our investigation to look into any adults who may have had influence over this family, and whoever lives here, Roderick, is close enough. I'm almost trying to like convince myself.
I wouldn't accuse him of being a sea devil off the bat, at least until we have a few details to confirm or deny. As multiple strangeness afoot here. I wouldn't want to offend him by jumping the gun.
No, of course.
Good.
It looks empty, but we might as well try knocking on the door, no?
I mean,
We're all the way here.
could at least get out of the rain. Plus, I did want to take a look at Roderick's place. Now we have the chance.
Yeah, you approach the side door, and with heavy wooden knocks, you knock on the lumber. It doesn't echo. The house is of sturdy construction and old. You can tell immediately, Isabella, just from looking at it, that you've written of places like this, made hundreds of years ago to withstand many an age. The stonework on the floor is or on the base, is heavy, large cobblestones with mortar between them, and the outline of the cabin is log, as if they were cut down from these woods themselves. You wait a moment after knocking, but there's no answer.
Must be well made to have withstood the centuries. I've never been inside a log cabin before.
Is there a way to get inside? Do you see any windows open or... Well, let's try the door.
And with a creak, the door opens.
Roderick!
Now your voice echoes into the somewhat bare cabin on the inside. You see the darkness inside suddenly paints the outside world in bright light comparatively. But you do see from the thin streaks of gray light the natural wood floor that enters into a small hallway and then a larger room beyond.
I flick my lighter on and step into the darkness.
Yeah, the flame fights against the falling drops of rain until you step inside, and then immediately, like eating the warmth of the inside, the flame grows tall and bright and begins to illuminate the small passage around you. Do you all enter?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah, so you stand in a small room. This room has a window to its immediate right that leads to what you imagine is the back of the cabin. And it has a door directly across from your doorway that leads to a large main room. This is sort of what you would guess is a mud room. It's dim in the light, so you can roll anything you want as you look around.
Okay. Do spot hidden again.
Yeah, I'm going to roll a spin as well.
Yeah.
I failed.
Wah wah. Isaiah, you gonna roll too?
I think at this
Could
point...
be looking around for, like, dangers.
Yeah. I think if I'm going to spot hidden, it's going to be, is Roderick sitting behind the umbrella stand or something?
Is it a snake this time?
That's still a fail.
I also failed.
Yeah, you
3 fucking failures.
You look around this small mud room. In the dim light, it's too difficult to really discern anything. But there's not much on the walls. They're fairly bare. In fact, it smells like a fresh coat of paint was put on these walls, more or less. But without specifically looking at one place or another in this room, all you get is the vague understanding that this is, in fact, a mud room.
Can I take a look around if there are any surfaces that might house a candle holder or a lantern, something that we can use to maybe
Give
give
me
a
a
little
luck
more light?
roll.
Okay.
Well, it appears that he's not here, so maybe we turn back. Could get back to town by nightfall.
Absolutely
I can't
not.
use
We need
luck
to
to
look
get
around first.
more luck.
Correct. You cannot use luck to
No,
use
I
luck.
fail.
Yeah, so you look around, Maxine. You don't spot anything. As you kind of search around with the lighter, you see that the mud room is quite a long room, maybe 15 feet long. As you sort of float around, do anyone else want to try to find a brighter light? You can give me a luck roll if you want to see if you can spot something.
Yes, I forget how luck rolls work.
So you should have a number, and you should roll under that for luck.
Okay, yeah, my number was 50. Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I succeeded. I succeeded in luck.
Nice.
Excellent.
Isaiah, did you succeed or roll?
I got excited for a moment, but that was only the single digits. So, nope, more failed.
So, Isabella, you do see on a small table here in the mudroom, there is a oil lantern that you can light with Maxine's lighter.
Great. I will absolutely be lighting this lantern.
Perfect. Yeah, and you do. And immediately the mudroom fills with light, so much brighter than it was before.
Nice.
And your eyes, as you sort of look around, fall upon a trap door that leads down.
Oh, boy. Okay, so yeah, Isabella's really like kind of pissed off right now and just like wants to get to the bottom of this. So she's just like marching straight ahead to this trap door.
Isabella, we should investigate the full layout of the first floor before we go anywhere else.
Come on, you know if he's hiding any secrets, it's in here.
All right, go for it. I'm just gonna. I'll be right behind you.
Isaiah, as
Go
the group,
alone. Go alone.
as the
It's
group
best
like,
to
gives
split the
glance
party,
around.
right?
Isaiah,
That's what they always say.
Isaiah?
Yeah, I think we'll shuffle up to Maxine for a moment.
One thing I must do before we enter this potentially dangerous realm of purview. How much for your lighter?
This?
Hmm.
And I looked down at the lighter. Does it have anything cool engraved on the side, Harlan?
Yeah. It says this too shall pass.
Yes. Oh, this lighter? Here, you can just have it.
Oh no!
It's okay. I don't really remember where I got it anyway. In fact, it feels like it wants to go to you. Give it to you.
I thank you for this then, and my services tomorrow shall be pro bono, as they say.
She's not the one paying you anyway. I'm the one with the $5.
Cool. So, Maxine, you move into the main room. Isabella, you go down to the cellar alone. Isaiah, where are you going?
I think
He just fucks off. He's like,
Well,
he's
I
gone.
got you later. Now.
So I think just glancing around this room, not investigating, but like how big is this place? Is it conceivably like there's multiple rooms that Roderick could be hiding in, or is it kind of like one big room situation?
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look around, it'll be easier. It's bigger. It's big. Yeah, it's like a few room place. You know from, context clues that the Evans family lived here, and they had at least one child. So you would guess there's at least 2 rooms. And since there's a mud room and a main room, and there are other doors, you would have guessed there must be at least 3 other rooms.
Yeah. So it's not a single Lincoln log cabin situation. All right.
Before I give my light, my
I
only
was just about to say, though, if
source
you're
of light,
separating and there's only one light.
Yeah,
then
I
you
took the lantern with me because, like,
Yeah.
screw y'all.
I want to. Before I give the lighter to Isaiah, I'm just gonna like get a little candle or something and.
No, there's
Can
no
I-
candle. That was the luck roll.
Really? So there's only the lantern. Isaiah, I can't give you my lighter. I need to keep it. I can give it to you after.
Or he can come with you if you want. Like,
Well, I'll gladly stay by your side.
All right.
there you go. Yeah, no, it's not like lighting implements everywhere.
I just want to have a torch, okay? Is there
I
no
know, that's why I
torches on
made
the
you roll
wall?
luck. I also
What kind
want
of
a
dungeon
shotgun
is
on the
this?
wall. What kind of dungeon is this? So, Maxine and Isaiah, you walk into the main room, and this is a large sort of living area at one point, obviously. Again, there's fresh paint on the walls, and you can see there's some, like, windows missing from the front of the house, where it seems like Roderick is in the process of replacing them slowly. There's like a cloth tarp sort of draped over it to sort of stop any excess water coming in. And you hear immediately the distinct dripping of water from a bucket as rain pours through the roof in the top. And the bucket is filled. It's long since been emptied. And as you enter this main room, to your immediate right, there's another door. 2 doors on your immediate right wall, 1 door directly across from you, and then the front door to the far left.
This Roderick's an industrious fellow. He has time to fish. He delivers groceries to Eleanor. He fixes the old place up.
Yeah. What else does he do? She walks into the room and opens the door to the right.
Perfect. Meanwhile, Isabella, you have opened the trap door and you are walking down the cellar steps in the dark. Immediately, you feel the walls close in on you, tight against your head. You can hear your breath loudly as you breathe, as you step down. And you are in what would look to be a root cellar. The walls are earthen and stone, tightly chiseled away through time. The smell of dirt and earthly goods seems pretty present and prevalent along here. At least the immediate right wall is. As you turn in with the lantern, you see that the other three walls in this large square room are all wood. They are all paneled, dark mahogany wood. Other than that, there are a few shelves in here, but the edges of the room are too far away to see from the dim light. You are essentially standing with only as far as the light can touch in this cellar.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna immediately start touching all of the panels just to see if there's any kind of opening, any kind of like hidden secret. I'm convinced there has to be a secret down here.
Perfect. Isabella, you begin running your hand along the north wall, just touching all the panels with your fingers, giving them little pushes, maybe knocking, feeling the hard stone dirt wall behind. And as you finish that first wall, you turn to the second. You begin thinking about your dream, each knock on the wood reminding you of every sweaty night you've had over the past few nights. Maxine and Isaiah, you open the door to the first room.
I like to imagine, like, you know, a ghost show. Isaiah's job is to hold the flashlight, and Maxine's is to do everything else.
Yeah. You're just like there.
And it's so shaky, it's like for no reason.
You open the door to this room. It sort of looks like a makeshift guest room at one point. Maybe that's what Roderick is trying to get it up to. It obviously was once a bedroom. But right now it's sort of devoid of any major furniture. You enter and look around. There's an old cabinet sitting on the wall that looks like it was of the same era as the building. It's sort of carved wood, very natural, kind of ornate in a way, but more, you know, just of its use. It's sort of quaint in an antique way. As you and Isaiah sort of scan the room, you see odd pictures that seem to be hung there from long ago. One that depicts a goat being beheaded. But it works in a style that doesn't seem so out of the norm, just sort of grotesque in the way it's viewed. Why don't you both give me a spot hidden?
Ooh. My spot hidden is so bad, but that is a hard success.
I got a Reggie success.
Nice. As the two of you move about this small room and sort of scan, you don't really notice anything. You turn around and head to the exit.
Not even in the cabinet?
No, you kind of look through the cabinet, you don't see anything until you go to leave the room. And Isaiah, your eyes fall upon a small rocking chair behind the door. At first it seems like any other chair, until you notice the maroon waistcoat that seems to be draped over one of the arms. Isabella, you're knocking on the wooden wall, and then you hear a thunk, a deep, hollow-sounding thunk, different than every other knock you've had on this wall. You're standing against the far west wall.
Okay, so I'm gonna look for an opening. Do I need to roll something for that? I'm gonna try and open up this door. There's something behind it. If it knocks empty.
Yeah, I don't think you need to roll for it. I think you sort of push and you can feel it buckle a little bit, and you spend a moment, you put the lantern down, feel the creak of this, the crack of this, and sort of with your fingernails sort of pick at the wood until you realize that sort of pushing on the panel rotates it just slightly. You feel
I told you, Maxine.
you say to yourself, far too below to be able to...
Can't hear
alert
you.
her. And with a sort of a soft hiss, you see the dirt begin to move underneath it as you turn this panel open, and you see a thin walkway that moves deeper into the wall.
Yeah, I'm going to grab the lantern and I'm going to go.
It's a tight fit, Isabella. You squeeze through, lantern first, as shadows cast from the light reveal these dark shadows that move about as you enter into this small room. To see a table. A simple wooden table. On top, you see a black dress. It seems well used, worn almost. You walk up curious and touch it to find that it is wet, perhaps recently used. And as you hold your lantern close and your eyes roll up, you see, mounted on the wall, a mask with horns, a depiction of an animal that you recognize on the wall. Maxine and Isaiah, you hear Roderick's voice before you hear the door shut. The gruff reminder of his voice, Isaiah, sounds behind you. "Oh, what are you doing in here?" he says, his voice breaking the silence as the two of you exit the room.
Hello, Roderick. Just get in, did you?
Yeah.
I apologize for my friends lurking around. Eleanor told us where to find you. I meant to talk to you. This is my good friend Maxine. I'm Isaiah, as you know, and I have a gift for you a little bit later.
Gift?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a sign of goodwill. It's a little unusual to just wander into someone's house uninvited.
So sorry for intruding.
He takes a half step towards you, this large, menacing man, and in the dim light of the flame, you see again his shark-like eyes, his missing nose, his scarred lower face.
I'll take my gift now if it's all the same to you, Isaiah.
Sure, but we'll have to get back into the mudroom.
All right.
He sort of gestures for you to head. Isaiah and Maxine, you head back into the mudroom.
I try to make my heels heel on the floor just a little louder.
Give me a listen roll, Isabella.
Okay. Let's see. What is my listen? Is 45. And that is a very high success, whatever the top one is.
Wow, great. Yeah, you hear these heavy clunking heels of Maxine. Do you piece it together, though, is the real question.
No, because I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah, no. I am way too much freaking out to really understand.
Yeah. Roderick leads you to the mudroom, Isaiah and Maxine, as the two of you sort of walk before him and turn around and he says,
"Where's that other friend of yours?"
Isabella? Isabella! Come to the mudroom. Roderick's there.
She's around somewhere. I'm sorry. It's just so dark in here.
He takes another half step towards you two and sort of eyes you down.
Well, where's my gift, Isaiah?
When we first met, you asked me for a light, so you should have this, and now you'll always have one.
He takes it and looks at it and pockets it, and he says,
I have a gift for you, too.
Really?
Yeah.
and he reaches out with one of his big muscly mitts.
No.
And he pushes past you to the door outside, where you see a man that you recognize from the beach, a man that you saw for only a moment, but didn't introduce yourself. And this man steps in and butts a cigarette. My name is Chief Clive Temper, and Roderick here has said that you've broken into his property. I think we have to talk about this. Roderick sort of turns and shuts the door.
There's another one here too, I think.
And the chief sort of looks towards the two of you and says, can you explain what the hell's going on here? I know you're new here, but this isn't exactly what we do.
Hi there. I'm Maxine Hart, and I show him my badge.
Right. No, I know who you are. The mayor's filled me in. I don't know why you think you're allowed to go into people's places. Roderick owns this place. And ultimately, I think you know that what you're doing is wrong. Isaiah, he kind of nods to you, Isaiah.
Yeah,
The chief have sort of met each other before.
I was calling out to Roderick. We came here to talk to him.
Right. I think it's for the best of everybody that we take this back to town to continue discussing. Where is your friend?
Certainly, of course.
I'm good.
Isabella.
And he sort of pushes past you to the main room. Isabella, at this point, you've heard a few of this type of stuff, right? What do you do? What's your play? You hear people calling from you. You hear all the voices. You hear sets of footsteps.
I am coming down from being incredibly terrified by what I've just seen, and I'm going to do a quick scope to see if there's anything I can grab, or if there's any, because I figure this is my only chance to be in this room. So I want to do a quick scan to see if there's anything else I can grab here before I go back up to me.
Yeah, I mean, you can grab everything if you want. It's your play. You kind of have all the cards here. What do you want to do?
Okay, so there's the table, there's the black dress, and then there's the like weird head.
Yes.
Mask thing.
Looks like a
mask thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the mask.
Sure. It's pretty big.
Sure. And then I'm gonna try and get up and go upstairs with the mask.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. You walk up the stairs and throw open the trap door to see a chief of this town, or rather the officer or whatever, how would it be guard, Roderick, Isaiah, and Maxine standing in the room, now well lit with a secondary lamp, as you step out from the cellar.
And I'm gonna go on the offensive and be like, "What the hell is this? Why do you have this in your home? What is this?"
There's an awkward moment where the chief takes a step forward, looks at what you're holding, studies it with a sense of familiarity, and looks towards Roderick. Why do you have that, Roderick? Roderick looks between the three of you and the chief and says,
I've seen that before in my life.
It was in your root cellar. How have you never seen it before in your life?
Chief looks back towards him and to you, kind of nodding. Roderick, I don't think this looks very good for you, does it? And I guess we'll end it there.
Awkward, Roderick. Awkward.
I thought you mentioned the maroon waistcoat as well. Double down
well,
evidence.
I
know you didn't. I was wondering what they two
We'll
were
think about it for next week.
Fair enough.
I want to
end it there for tonight then. Ladies and gentlemen, a interesting turn and twist of this tale so far. We are nearing the end of our little adventure here tonight. As information and knowledge mounts, I'm curious to see what happens next. We still have some pieces to put together. But thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you once again for the amazing donations from Colin and our friend... Who donated as well? Anaya, thank you so much. We'll be back next week for what I think will be the last part in this series. so you do not want to miss it. Thank you once again to William and Emily for hanging out with us tonight. Make sure you check out Hello from the Hallowoods and Parkdale Haunt. New episode on Friday for Parkdale Haunt. New episode out today for Hello from the Hallowoods. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back Friday night at 8 o'clock for some spooky streaming. Join us then. That is it from us. Good night.
Good
So
night.
long.